What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Dreamin', so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. Okay, guys, I wanted to do a, answering your comments video, but specifically for one of the videos that I put out recently that had a ton of traction. So if you don't remember, it was the Why Are You Bearish on Splinterlands, and I was asking folks to come in with their responses and let me know why it is that you are bearish. And if it's just because, the token price is down, that wasn't, I understand, but that was like the only unacceptable answer, or I shouldn't say unacceptable. That was the least interesting answer to me. So I haven't really gone through these responses yet. I wanted to give it some time for people to come through. And, like I said, there's some spicy stuff when I was previewing it, but we're going to go through all of this together. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We have this from William Pipkin saying the CEO openly admitted to be frivolous with funds during the last bull run. Number 2, pack prices have increased since Untamed without any tangible improvement in metrics. And 3, why play in Wild when I can bot and utilize my time more productively? Okay, so interesting points there. I'm not even going to disagree with any of what you said. I mean, we have a different CEO though, so understand that. But yes, we did go through them probably overextending themselves during the last bull run. The pack prices is an interesting one. And you're right, the pack price increase was during that bull run when we did see metrics improve. It's just we didn't know how much of that was real versus how much of that was bots. Now, I've been an advocate to actually bring the pack prices back down. That seems to not be the consensus across the board. So, I'm actually kind of with you on this, although I would say that none of these particularly make me bullish, but I can understand why they would bother you. All right, so Andrew says, I'm just here for the LOLs while SPM, hopium dealers, and bag holders continue to swim upstream. Well, in terms of using time more productively, as William said, I just appreciate the fact that you're here, Andrew, even though you have nothing to gain from it. So thanks for still coming through and supporting the channel, even if you're laughing at our expense. Joffrey says, I don't see any new players coming. The price of entry is way too high, and to be honest, the game is not that fun unless you spend 50 grand. Then it's a little fun, I guess. All right, well, I think that was a little extreme. I think you could spend probably significantly less than 50 grand. My guess is that if you want to play at the top tier levels, you probably have to be willing to spend... yeah, 5 to 10 grand. But even then, we were looking in a previous video at a max rebellion set is like 7-8 grand right now. So I don't know what this is going to look like in the future, but I would say that the move towards more free-to-play options and the rotation of modern should help. But, I don't disagree that the price of entry is way too high. And what's interesting, and I hope Dave doesn't mind me sharing this, but, I had a long conversation with Dave McCoy the other day just to catch up, and he agrees. He's the new COO, right? He agrees that we've only focused on the top tier experience, right? Only the premium experience, and we need to find ways to create, and this is why the team has moved towards free to play and maybe mid tier experiences. So again, you're not wrong in the way that you're thinking, but I do think that we are shifting towards a different mindset now, and I'm glad that Dave can bring that in. All right, Geek.Basketball says, overall, I would say I'm contained bullish on this game, which means I think it is going to be here for the long haul, but in a manner that is indicative of its audience size, which I think will always be a bit contained due to the nature of the game. So this is a fantastic point, and I want to emphasize that I actually very much agree with this. I think the team is also being realistic about it. I don't see this as a game that's going to have millions of players one day. I don't even know if the game's going to have hundreds of thousands of players. I can see thousands and tens of thousands of real players coming in and wanting to play. But here's the thing, even just a couple thousand new players would do wonders for the game. And I agree that if the team is now in a better place financially and they're around for the long haul, then this can be something that grows organically over time. It doesn't need to be something that pops off, right? And this is why I'm very, very conservative on my SPS price prediction, right? Not even that I throwing out a price prediction, but I'm just yeah, if we were ever to hit the new all-time high, I don't think it'd be for a couple of years at most, right? Or at least, right? Just to be able to eat through all the other things here, create enough utility for SPS, create enough demand, and actually bring players in for the long haul the way that we've seen players who've been here for the last 6-7 years, right? Mondroid, shout out to Mondroid. What's going on? It says, I'm glad this video got so many views and comments. The more people caught off guard by our success, the bigger the pump will be when the FOMO kicks in. Imagine being part of this project and knowing about it, then missing out on the moon because you sold too early. Well, we got a bullish comment here, so thanks for that, Mondroid. Shaking it up. All right, 98 Manga says, bearish until SPS breaks a penny. Need that bullish confirmation for the switch. Terms apply afterwards. So bearish equals accumulation, bullish equals consumption. Interesting. So what's fascinating is that we did cross a penny not too long ago, but then we came back down. Obviously, that was the hype post-election, I think. But, you know, I don't disagree with you that once we cross a penny and as long as we don't come back down, that would be fantastic. But it really just depends on where we go with the upcoming flywheel impact from Conclave Arcana is really the big one. But Yvonne says penny is an arbitrary number. That means nothing, isn't it? And Yvonne, you're not wrong. So it is kind of an arbitrary number. It's more just psychological. Natom says Conclave Arcana sales might answer that. I'm expecting the same OGs to bulk buy, and that's probably it. I'm still hoping for the pump when it happens. See, this is somebody who knows how to play the game. Oh, no Torns. Sorry, not no Toms. Everybody, like, here's the thing. Everybody is always complaining like, oh, I'm just down. I'm like, whatever. If you have been around Splinterlands as long as I have and have not figured out ways to make money trading the trends or the arbitrage, I would say that, like, I mean, maybe you're treating it as a game and that's totally cool. But then, like, don't, you know, like, if you're, why are you so focused on the money aspect? There's always been arbitrage opportunities, whether it's DEC, whether it's SPS, whether it's cards, right? I've gotten some right, I've gotten some wrong, but I'm actually quite happy with how much I've recovered. And again, I don't like to talk about it here because this is not an investment channel. I'm really trying to focus on the game side. Plus, I don't want there to ever be like people think that I'm like trying to like pump and dump them. Like, oh, I'm doing this, so like you guys should do it, and then I dump. Like, it's just I just make small trades here and there, and you know I always pull my ice cream money, which I'm happy about. So I agree with that. No torrents. All right, Firebolt says, I do catch myself being bearish, just the fact that Splinterlands might not have the necessary market fan base to compete with other game consoles or mobile games. With that being said, once they start assembling the pieces with land, battles, campaign mode, ooh man, FOMO will happen, and we all gonna wish we bought more. Let's hope so, man. Triple Strike says, not bearish, but I hate that my cards and SPS worth is decreasing. My cards value from 2022 is still down 40 to 70%, even if some of the cards go up 2 to 3x. Well, keep in mind, the entire ecosystem is down. You know, dude, look at Ethereum today, still struggling. So any altcoin that is, you know, any crypto that's not Bitcoin is still struggling. That being said, I would love to see Splinterlands get into a place where they become recession-proof is probably too strong of a word, but it's just like it's a game. So people should be playing the game no matter what. Now, maybe you get more people that play during a bull market, obviously, if it's a, you know, money or earnings-based game. But I would love to see it where people stick around just because the game is worth playing and you can still collect and accumulate stuff and people understand the long-term value of that. Shout out to International Travel Channel. Thanks for the pandas. Hickson says, I'm still here after chaos and the sky's the limit for the team and project. I still believe the Hive blockchain is a massive hindrance to this project. Don't get me wrong. I love Hive and I'm very active, but it's still unknown to the crypto community. I don't disagree with any of that, and I'm here with you on that. So Gigaster says, the moves Splinterlands is making are intended to drive people away, not attract more players. The team's only focus is to make players leave for good. Now, okay, I've talked about this at length. I don't think that the team is intentionally trying to make players leave. I do think that they are trying to reframe the game experience in an entire way that would probably cause a lot of players to leave. But as I've said in the past, and I know this will rub people the wrong way still, the current players don't matter. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. It's just, I always put it this way. Let's say there's 2,000 real players in the game. If the team can restructure the game in a way where they can bring in 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 players, then we don't really matter. And it's just, again, like our opinions or whatever, we don't really matter. And if you're only looking at this at the short term and not the value of what they're trying to do to bring in those players. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to be successful. I'm saying that they're trying to do that. And the people who are sticking around are believing in that to a certain extent. Then, I mean, you're not wrong for feeling the way that you do, but that would be very short term in my opinion. And it's not wrong of you to sell out and chase other opportunities. In fact, I've always encouraged people to do that. KL says, because there are better games out there now, especially on the Ronin network. Still haven't checked that out, but I believe you. Super New User says, personally, I've just discovered it costs me like $20 more each week to claim my land resources, and the value of the items I'm claiming aren't worth a fraction of that, so sucks and is not sustainable. Wow. Why does it cost so much for you to... Well, actually, land even is probably even more expensive now. So everybody's scaling out SPS mines and research hubs, says Garnulf, and having scarcity is actually a good thing. I don't disagree. Mad G says, give market time to settle. Yeah, I agree with that too. All right, Banana says, I'm not bearish, but if I was, I certainly wouldn't watch these videos and leave bearish comments on every single one like some people do. That's hilarious. Jobby Saint says, I bet those who are bearish about the game are no longer here and don't know what's happening in the game. So to answer your question, people are bearish because they are no longer interested in the game. I mean, well, obviously people left, but you saw some bearish comments here. So I'm curious to hear. And I'm not trying to like, poke at the bearish people. I'm literally just curious as to like, okay, you're still here. You're still sticking around. You're like, what is it that you see within the game or happening? All right, so Pomp says they have to distribute energy based on cards you have instead of fixed amount per spell book. Well, hey, they're doing that with survival mode. This will give utility to all your extra cards. The energy will also be tradable. I bet if that was tradable, people would buy a lot of cards to trade energy and never even bother playing. I mean, that'd be interesting, but that would be a complete dynamic shift. All right, only two more. So look, we went through that pretty quickly. All right, so Supreme Victory Studio says, because the team continues to focus on the wrong things, I understand new player experience was important, but retaining the players that you had already loyal should have been the priority. Not giving us time to do in the game, anything to do in the game, new modes to play, no PvE, no boss modes, land failed to bring value. Obviously, everybody's going to leave. Well, I kind of already answered that previously where current players don't matter. It's the new players, potential new players that do, because that's the only thing that's going to save this, right? And the last one, Nicola, who is a frequent commenter, so I appreciate you, Nicola, says, because nothing the team endowed did cause wider adoption of the game. Preventing game collapse can hardly be called success. And you are not wrong in those statements. Preventing the game is not a success, or preventing game collapse is not a success. I'm sure there is success in that, but the team really needs to deliver now if they want to have any kind of longevity. Your first response there, first sentence, like because the team endowed did nothing the team endowed did cause wider adoption. I'm not disagreeing with you. Like just from a purely objective state, like you are true. You are correct in that. That being said, I personally think that a lot of things that they did do makes it easier for adoption to happen once things take off with the broader crypto market. And again, if you look at other games out there, Web3 games, it's not like adoption is picking up crazily in any of them. I mean, you saw hype in Parallel for a little bit and then it died down. You saw hype in, what's that, first-person shooter or third-person shooter, Off the Grid, right? And I'm not saying that it's died down, but it's just like the crypto markets are just not in a fantastic place right now. And that shouldn't be the only thing. I don't want to keep repeating myself. That shouldn't be the only thing, but it's just the nature of the beast and where we're at right now. So that's all I got in this video. Thank you guys for taking the time to comment. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.